What were you guys able to accomplish during the bye week?
We got a lot accomplished. It was good. One good thing is a lot of extra time for the kids to get extra study hall in and homework done and get on top of that. Some of our players got out and did some community service, got in some grade schools, so that was nice. On the actual field, it was just good. We got to get a lot of, get back to some fundamentals and do a lot of work, and went against each other on some things and got a little head start on Troy, and then got a lot of work with our young guys at the end.
Were you able to get some guys healthy that weren't able to play in the Arkansas State game?
Yes. Still hoping that we'll get some more healthy. Maybe not everybody back like you always hope, but we do have more back than we did going into that last game.
Do you think Matt will be ready to go by Saturday?
I think so. Yeah, I think he will. But he had a good practice Sunday night. That's just something that's kind of be a day-to-day, but I think he will be ready.
And some of the guys in the secondary, Grabsky and Jayshon Jordan, how are they looking?
Those I don't know yet. Those are still day-to-day also, but if you had to compare the three, I would say Matt has a better chance than the other two.
But did anything you see from Jake in his first start maybe surprise you at all, what he was able to do?
I think he's, his short yardage running ability was very good. That's one thing, that's kind of tough. I grew up always being live in practice as a quarterback myself. My dad's practices, the quarterbacks were always live. I had them live when I first got here, and then I went to not doing it. But when you don't do it, you don't know that. I thought he did a great job of running the ball, great job of reading on some of the zone read stuff. So that was something that he did better than I knew, because he really just hadn't been live tackle enough, to be honest with you. Thought he played well his first game. Thought he did a good job, had good composure, did a good job of just not getting rattled. Most important play was always the next play. Obviously there's some things he could do better, but I was very proud of him. Thought he played hard his first game.
Do you feel that throwing him in there against USC was beneficial?
No question. I think that helped a lot, because playing against the USC talent and then playing in that atmosphere, I think it would have been a lot harder playing in that game if he wouldn't already had that experience. I guess the best way to put it, because Arkansas State has a fast defense. They run around, they hit, and they play fast. But he'd already played against USC, so it wasn't as big a shocker. I think it would have been a lot bigger shock if you go from playing in high school all of a sudden to then playing against Arkansas State. But if you get USC before the Arkansas State, it wasn't as big of a shock for the speed and the tempo of the game.
In terms of reps this week, is he getting any with the first team still, or is it?
Oh yeah, he took a lot of reps. He took a lot of reps Sunday night. Matt took a good amount of reps too. It was probably 60-40 Sunday night, Jake to Matt. We'll just see how Matt's feeling, how he's doing, and then move on from there. But I wouldn't think that it would ever go past 50-50 this week, either way.
They were kind of able to take Des away. Do you expect more teams will try to blanket him like Arkansas State?
They were bracketing him quite a bit. He still had 9 catches, but they definitely did work a lot harder at taking him away than some of the other teams have done. I could see people going into doing that. But, when you do that, you're taking somebody away from the box to stop the run. So, that's just kind of a decision people are going to have to make if they do bracket him. Then we got to, get the ball to other people, and we got to run the ball better because, and I think it did help us run the ball at times better against Arkansas State because you can't bracket him and get an extra guy to the box for the run.
You're closer to making decisions on whether Dave and Leonard will play this year?
I think Dave will. I do not think Leonard will.
Expect Dave to play this week?
Yes.
And Jacob?
Don't know yet. But I think Dave practiced Sunday night, looked good, ran around, looked good, did a good job. So Jacob would still be a question mark. I think Leonard will redshirt this year. It doesn't look like he's going to be back in the near future, so I would say that he's going to redshirt this year.
Did that go into moving with Leonard out? Did that go into moving Kalen Smith over to defense?
It did. It did play into that, and Kalen just did a great job on special teams in that Arkansas State game. Just a great passion. Loved playing the game. Flew around. Had 2 big hits. One on kickoff cover. One on kickoff return. And he likes to play the game. So let's try to get him on the field more. So that also played into it.
Is he playing Buck?
Yes.
How's he look so far?
He's done a good job. He's done some good things. It's obviously it's new to him. He still has a lot to learn, but he's got a good first step. He's got a good burst off the edge, and so I'm excited. Hopefully he can improve again these next 3 days and get in there and do some good things for us.
Will he play tight end at all anymore?
Not right now. Not right now, and he would. He might have to do both if we had an injury to Dion or to Trent. But as of right now, he's just working defense.
Do you guys feel like you need to make any more personnel changes within the defense to kind of button some things up that have not been going as well as you would have liked?
We've moved a couple guys around, but there's a point where you only have you have what you have, and you just got to try to get them better. You just got to try to improve and get better, and there's times that we've done things a lot better. We just gotta go down there and have a game where we play the whole game consistent and fly to the ball and play with great passion and come out of there with a win.
If defenses do, if defenses do decide to bracket Desmond, does that make it easier to call more running plays or
Yeah, if they're going to bracket him, then it eliminates somebody from the box. So then you do have to run it at times, and then you have things that you do where you're trying to use him to split the bracket. He did have one of his touchdowns. Georgia Southern did bracket him one time where he split it. Then you got to motion him, move him around, make it harder for him to. We do line him up in a lot of different places, so it's hard for him to bracket him all the time. And then use him sometimes as a decoy and just clear it out and throw the ball to somebody else too.
How much of a hindrance do you think being undermanned has been on your teams the past few weeks?
Define undermanned to me.
It just seems like you guys, maybe not undermanned, just having so many bodies just not there. You mentioned so many starters from week 1 that weren't there on the Arkansas
that's
trip.
hurt. I think it hurt in the second half against both Georgia Southern and Arkansas State. I think if you would have just lined up and they only got to play 11 guys and we only got to play 11 guys, it would have maybe came right down to the wire. But yeah, that depth is hurt at times. So we just got to keep getting the younger guys better enough so we can give guys a spell enough. But you have what you got to play the cards you're dealt, and we just got to keep improving and keep getting better, and hopefully we get some guys back. And some of the injuries have been just total fluke injuries, and we just got to keep continuing to work and get better.
Does this look like a new Troy team? I know that they're probably going to go with a different quarterback, a different running back than you guys saw last year, and obviously a new coach. How different are they than they were last year?
They're not totally different. They're probably more so different on defense, but that's, me and Vic worked together for 2 years in Illinois, so I know their defensive coordinator very well. Good friend of mine, great coach. Offensively, it's a little different, but he was the offensive coordinator there before, and the offensive coordinator worked underneath him, and then they kind of tried to do the same things. But it's always a little bit different regardless, just because of the play caller. So offensively is a little bit different. Defensively is definitely different. They've been playing some good defense. Mississippi State, you watch that whole game, and they played well on defense. They shut them down for a lot of the game. Mississippi State got a touchdown on a punt return, on a fumble in the first quarter. Really, they only scored on one drive offensively. So they're a little bit, a lot different defensively, but not that much different on offense, with the exception of the personnel. The personnel that, the running back, he's a good player. He actually was in my little group when we did that Sunbelt Media little kids camp, and he's a really good kid, and he's a good football player. He does a good job of running the ball.
How is he different than the guy you guys saw last year?
He's a little stronger. He breaks more tackles. He just seems to run with more power behind his pads. And then he has the speed to take it the distance too. He's broken long runs against some athletic teams. He had a long one against North Carolina State, a long one against Mississippi State. But he's just a little bit more powerful, I guess would be the best way to put it.
With the competition they've had through their first 5 games, you feel like their 1-4 records may be deceiving at all?
Yeah, for sure. When you play Wisconsin, North Carolina State, Mississippi State, those are some tough teams. And then they had the one game, their big rival against South Alabama within conference. So they're a good football team. But it's a game that we got to believe we're going to go win. We got to believe it all week. We got to prepare that way. We got to go down there and step on the field, believe it from the start of the game till the end of the game.
What have you seen from their quarterback? Just sophomore. So is there a lot of tape on him?
There's a good amount of tape. On the last game, they played 3 of them. You know, the last game they played 3 of, 12, he was the starter, he's the one that's been playing all year, he took a pretty good hit, then he came out, and then they brought in the big 6'7" guy that, earlier in the year, he was really spinning it. He kind of scared you, he can throw the ball. Mississippi State game, he probably wasn't playing quite as well, then they brought in that athletic guy, number 1, Pruitt, and he did some good things. You know, he had 18 rushes, I think he had like 82 yards, but when you took away the sacks, it ended up being like 53. But he was 12 for 17 passing, and he's athletic, so that's a little different. He's definitely different than the other two. He's a different type of quarterback. So if he's their quarterback, it'll be more of the zone read, quarterback counter read, more of the running game, and he throws the ball pretty well too. Where the other two guys, it's more, traditional, throw the ball. Throw a lot of screens. No matter who's a quarterback, they're going to throw a lot of receiver screens. It's not all the way similar, to Coach Leach across the border, but it's definitely has some Hell-Mummy trees to it. I guess you could say their offense definitely, is part of that family tree of throwing the ball.
With maybe the combination of injuries and maybe situations where you guys have kind of shot yourself in the foot, is maybe your 1-4 record deceiving at all as well?
I think so. I wouldn't be that fired up to play us if I was another team either. I think they see on tape, like we lead the league in first downs. We just haven't had great field position all the time. We're number 1 in the country in scoring in the red zone. There's a lot of things, if you watch us on tape, that you would be a little nervous about what we do with the ball offensively. There's no doubt in my mind. And then there's times in certain parts of games where our defense flies around and plays really well. So just got to be a part where we go put the whole game together.
Chris Edwards is a guy who caused a lot of problems last year for teams as a safety. What is he doing so well this year, in a new position and still causing some of the same problems?
He's got good instincts. He flies around. He really can pull the trigger and cover a lot of ground once he sees what's happening. He's just done a good job. He's done a good job of flying around and making plays and causing big plays. He'll make explosive plays defensively for us.
Do you have a third string QB? Something that happened to Jake, let's say at Arkansas State, who would have gone in?
Well, if something would have happened to him, I think Kareem would go in first. If it was something where it was just to get out of the game, I think you would play Kareem. If it was something where, I don't even want to say it, but if it was something for the season, then it would probably be, you would have Gunner and Kareem both play. But right now we're trying to redshirt Gunner.
Austin Rico is a guy who was kind of in the national spotlight before you got here. Was he on your radar before you got to Idaho? I knew about him. Yeah, I think from YouTube, seeing him make that field goal. You saw that, and as soon as we got here, that was one of the first people that I went and saw, actually. So, you knew about him. I knew about him when I was in Arkansas. And then we were just lucky enough to get him to come here. I think a lot of people assumed he was going to go to the Pac-12 or the SEC just after seeing that YouTube clip. Were you almost surprised when he did end up here?
He really liked it here, and I think it was far enough away from home but close enough to home. I think he's really close with his family. And so I think I don't think he was going to go very far from home at all. So, it came down to I think where he wanted to go closest to home.
Well, once you guys got his signature, did you kind of know you had a 4-year kicker, punter?
Pretty much. I think we have another guy coming in that's in a gray shirt, so I'm not sure if I can say his name right now. The NCAA rules, but I think we'll have another one. I think we're gray shirting him, and then he'll red shirt for a year, and then Austin will be gone, and then I think he can be the next guy that can punt and kick for us for 4 years.
Is Jermaine Johnson still a member of the team?
No.
Why did he choose to leave?
He decided to leave the team. Yes.
Did he? Why was that?
That's between him and me.
What about Doyen Sule? Is he still a member of the team?
No.
Did he choose to leave as well?
He did.
Actually, 2 more. About Ryan Edwards and Kevin Shelton. In terms of injuries, are they coming back this week?
I think Ryan did some things on Sunday night. Kevin would still be a question mark.
Anything else? Great. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.